Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Vadim.
And I'm Brandon.
And today we're going to be looking at how to get the most out of Nagios XI.
We're going to do our best to keep this video short and sweet, so let's just get started.
To get the most out of XI, we want to create host and service groups.
This is one way to get the most out of XI, by organizing and analyzing hosts and servers that need to stay up in your infrastructure. These can be important servers that you need to maintain to continue running.
Here's how you could do that. Looking up on the top right side, you have a search feature where you could search up host group or service group, and you're specifically looking for CCM right here. We will hover over the gear icon on the left side and then click Core Config Manager. Here under monitoring, we will find host groups and service groups. We'll click on host groups, then we'll click add new and create a test group. And on the right side, we can find manage host or manage host groups. We'll click manage hosts. And here you could select any host that you would like to add to the host group. For instance, we'll add this one and this one. And you'll notice that it selected the other one. If you wanted to select multiple hosts, you hold down Control. Or if you wanted to select all these hosts, you'll hold down Shift and click the last one, and it'll select all of them. Then on the bottom left side, click Add Selected. On the right side, you'll see all the hosts that are added, and it's under Assigned. On the right side, you could also delete or remove all of these hosts if you made a mistake. Then we'll click Close. And then we could also write an alias. We'll do TG for test group. You could add any notes or URLs here, and you could select if it's active here as well. Then we'll click Save, and it asks to apply configurations. You could either click this right here, or on the bottom you could click Apply Configurations. Once we've got that added, you could either view configuration snapshots, or you could go back to host groups, and you'll see the test group right here on the bottom.
After adding these hosts in a group, it is easy to set up scheduled downtime so that when a host needs maintenance, XI knows it'll be down for a certain amount of time and you won't be notified to the system being down.
For the next step, we'll be creating scheduled downtime for our host group for maintenance.
This is important because it allows you to easily take down a machine without getting a bunch of alerts from XI. So let's go ahead and add that in. Using the search tool at the top right, we're going to search up scheduled downtime. Here it is underneath Home. And we're going to schedule it. So we are going to select the schedule downtime button here on the left, and it'll be for a host group. We're going to search for the host group that we created earlier, which is test group, and we're going to add it to the right hand side. Now we can do this for multiple host groups if we wanted to by selecting multiple by holding Control, or Shift if we want to do all of them, as Vadim mentioned earlier. For now, we're just going to stick with test group. On the bottom here, we're going to want to select scheduling the downtime for all the hosts. We're referring to all the hosts within this test group. The same can be said with services if we selected a service group from this menu as well. The author is going to be Vadim. We can add any comments here, so this is where we'll typically put in the reason for why there is downtime. Our reasoning today will be a security patch. We're going to leave the triggered by and type values as default. At the bottom here is where we actually put in the scheduled downtime, so we'll click this calendar. Let's say we're going to be doing our maintenance tomorrow. At the recording of this video, tomorrow would be the 6th, so we will be putting in our hour at 1 o'clock as our example, which is 13. And since it'll be 13 on the hour, we'll just decrease these last two sliders all the way to the bottom. This is 1 p.m. exact. We're going to give ourselves 1 hour to do this patch. So again, to the 6th, 1 hour would put us at 14, like that. And again, 14 on the hour, which is 2 p.m. So we'll decrease these sliders all the way to the far left. And we'll hit done. So now we're saying that in our test group, all the hosts are going to go down between the hours of 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. on November 6th, 2024 for a security patch. And we'll click schedule. As you can see here, all of the hosts within the host group have been added here into the scheduled downtime list, so we will not get any XI alerts to when these systems go down between the hours of 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. tomorrow. The next thing we're going to do is add another user that has limited access to Nagios XI.
By creating users, you could create custom roles for anyone that might want access to monitoring data, which you can limit to as an admin or a user with specific roles.
Thanks, Vadim. And now we're going to walk through how to do that real quick. So if we want to create or change the roles of an admin, user, or viewer, we need to go to the Users tab. We can do that by hovering over this left-hand side here, this shield icon known as Admin. We'll click on it and click Manage Users. You can also search for Manage Users here in the search tool on the top right. We'll be adding in a user today. His name is going to be John Snow. And he'll have a default password. His alias name will just be jsnow. And his email address will also be a very standard one here. We'll leave everything else here on the left as default. What we're going to care about here is the information off to the right. Now, let's say John Snow is going to be a restricted user that can only see monitoring data. They can't actually modify anything within the core config manager. They can't have API access, and they won't be able to do any of that. It'll just be a simple read-only. Since this user will be a read-only access, we'll click this read-only icon here. As I mentioned before, they won't be able to change anything. They won't be able to add hosts. They won't be able to modify them or do anything. They'll just be able to simply view it. And then they'll also not be able to access the core config manager. Once we're satisfied with these settings, we can scroll down and click Add User. I'm going to stay within John Snow as an example here. Now let's say this is going to be a user of XI, and they're going to need to add in hosts, change services, modify the core config manager, and they have a high enough security clearance where they are permitted to have admin level access. Underneath this user drop-down menu here, you can click Admin. And as you can see, everything goes away because they will have full access to Nagios XI. Now here's where you control API access. Typically with an admin, they'll have access over everything, so you can click this, as well as allowing full access to the core config manager. Now, if you want them to do all of the permissions of everything here, with the exception of not having access to the core config manager or API access, you can still select admin, deselect these two options, and they'll only have access to the ability of host control and configuration. John Snow will be an admin, so we'll click Admin, API access, and full access to the core config manager, and we'll click Add User.
Now that Brandon has created a user, the last thing we should change is the home screen as soon as a user or admin logs in. This can show the most critical hosts and services that may have went down since you last logged in. This is how you change the home screen. On the home dashboard, you could see that this dashboard is the main dashboard that you get when you download XI. If you wanted to change that, go on the left under the little account icon, click that, and then under My Account, you could find homepage options. Here you can find the homepage title, which is admin default, or you can make a custom one here. I'll stick to the admin default, and below that you could find homepage destination. This will be a static dashboard. You could do an admin default. You could do the home dashboard or a custom URL. For an instance, we're going to try a home dashboard. Once we update settings, we could see a little check that settings have been updated, and when we go home, and there's your home dashboard. If you wanted to change it, you could find a little gear icon here, or you could go back to account, then go to homepage options, and then you could change anything you want here. I'll leave mine as home dashboard.
These are just some examples of what you can get out of Nagios XI. Feel free to customize XI to what best suits your environment. And that wraps up today's video, folks. I hope you found this video useful.
If you have additional questions, be sure to visit community forum or visit support.nagios.com for additional documentation.
Don't forget to stop by the YouTube channel for more amazing content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.